Welcome back, everyone. It is Wednesday, April 23rd in the MLB. We have 5 picks in this video ready to go for MLB slate. Some early games today, so lock these in early with us. As always, it's Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday. Josh Naylor, shout out you, man. He came through late in that game. Boy, do we need it, because our other 2 picks, Royals -1.5 and Blue Jays first 5 team total. I'll touch on the Blue Jays. Ronel Blanco, I guess, has their number, had his best start of the year. Only got 1 solo bomb, barely got any hits on him. So bad read there. Logan, I'll give you the floor to talk with the Royals, because what the hell was that?
Yeah, I mean that pick perfectly described our season. You got a 2-0 lead, just can't allow a run. You got 2 outs, nobody on, and then the closer forgets how to pitch. He walks 2 batters, bases loaded situation. It's the most nightmarish thing I've ever seen. And then I'm like, okay, well, he's down to 2 strikes. All you have to do is make your pitch. You get out of this game. You cover the run line for us. He misses location, throws it right down the middle, and I'm just sitting there, and I just fall out of my seat. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the season from hell, guys. I don't know what else to say. I'm just beyond flabbergasted. I've got nothing.
I don't even want to know the live bet odds of the Royals to cover and win by 2 when they were 2 out, top of the ninth, no one on. Probably like -10,000. But of course, that's just how the season has gone. But you know what? We have a long summer ahead of us. We can easily turn around the season. We just need those to go our way. We're not asking for much. Those to go our way. And we got 5 picks today. Let's dive into them. I'll dive into our first one of the day. Oh, actually, I need to put out a reminder. We did a $25 giveaway yesterday for someone to go down below, comment their favorite home run hitter, and whoever got one, and we picked a random one that won. Today's winner, Mike the Sir, Mike _ Sir. Hey, he called Kyle Tucker at a big day in that crazy game in Wrigley Field. So if that is you, go back to your comment from yesterday's video. I let you know how you can reach out to us. We can give you your $25. You certainly deserve it. But let's dive in. We have 5 picks. I'm going to start with an early one, and it'll be my favorite hits, runs, and RBIs play of the day. It is Spencer Torkelson, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, which is currently -130 on Bet365. I'd play it about -140, -145. I expect Torkelson, like I said, this is an early start. I think it's at 1:10 p.m. Eastern time. I expect him to be batting cleanup today, either 4th. He might be batting 5th. I would be surprised if he was 5th, but I would assume 4 or 5, which is fine with me. He should be coming up with guys on base, which is what you love to see, because then all we could need is 1 hit. We'd rather only have 1 hit and get an RBI than relying on a guy to get a hit and have his teammates hit him in, which I don't know if our guys have scored a run ever when we take a hits, runs, and RBI square. I feel like they're always stranded. But I really like Torkelson today, and I'll touch on why. Now, today, he's coming off a hitless game. He went out there yesterday, went 0 for 4. But it wasn't like he was 0 for 4 with 4 Ks. He had 3 balls hit with a 95 or higher mile per hour exit velocity. He had 2 hits with a set .750 and a 550 expected batting average. Just he got unlucky. Neither of them dropped, but he's been really good, especially against lefties. And he'll face the lefty Kyle Hart, who starts for the Padres. Hart this season, a 6.5 ERA and a 1.4 whip. He has struggled on the road too, giving up 10 earned runs and just 5 2/3. He has been pretty bad on the road, giving up a 4.29 opponent batting average. And I don't know if he's going to figure out today against the Tigers offense. It just got shut out last night to, wasn't that Pavetta, I think, was pitching. Torkelson, he's also been good against lefties, batting 286 this season with a 1.08 OPS. So he's been crushing lefties. Also, what you love to see is he crushes in day games. Now, I'm not a big guy that looks at day and night splits, but it's worth noting he's hitting 311 with a 1.27 OPS during day games. In fact, all 7 of his home runs on the year have come during day games. As I said, today's game is at 1 p.m., give or take. Now, if you could dive into the pitches, Torkelson's probably going to see sweeper, changeup, sinker, and 4-seamer. Hart throws all those around 20-ish%. He's batting 400 versus the changeup this year. His expected batting average is 339 versus the sinker and 437 versus the sinker, 339 versus the 4-seamer. I mean, at the end of the day, I think he's going to get plenty of opportunities here. I love his hits, runs, and RBI square. I think he'd come up. He could get a home run today. I think he'd go out there and get a double, get hit in, get an RBI. I really think the Tigers offense shows up today. The fact they're pretty sizable favorites, I believe, with Reese Olson on the mound, it gives me a pretty good indicator that I think the bats show up for the Tigers today. And I think Mr. Torkelson is a part of that. So he's my favorite hits, runs, and RBIs play of the day. Spencer Torkelson, go get the job done. But Logan, throwing it to you. You got a money line for the people. Where are you going?
Yeah, so we're going to a good divisional series. I'm taking the Phillies on the money line, minus 118 odds on BetMGM. Look, I'm backing the Phillies to avoid getting swept by their, division rival. To keep pace in this division, you have to win games like this. You have to avoid getting swept by the Mets. And in baseball, I like to bet against a divisional team looking for the sweep because that's really hard to do. And if the Mets do it today, tip of the cap. Then the Phillies just didn't have it. But I like the matchup on paper a lot for the Phillies and to get it done in this game and avoid the sweep. Now, who's starting for the Mets today? It's David Peterson. 3.27 ERA, 1.36 whip for David Peterson. Against righties, those are the ones that have success against him. He's pretty tough on lefties. He's allowing a 286 batting average to righties with runners in scoring position, allows a 263 batting average. So those are where hitters normally have success against Peterson. And obviously, being a divisional matchup, they've seen Peterson a lot. Some of the guys like Turner and Harper don't have great splits versus him. But as I mentioned, some of these, well, actually, Harper has great splits, hitting 381 against him. Turner does not, though, and Schwarber don't. Bohm is hitting 304 against him. Castellanos hitting 500 against him. So a couple of those righty bats in there have seen Peterson pretty well. Phillies, fifth best in batting average versus lefties, hitting 273. That's normally when I want to back them. Against the righty, they're hit and miss. Against the lefty, they've been more consistently good this year, and I think that's what they do today. I think they get to David Peterson. And on the other side, it's going to be Zach Wheeler starting for the Phillies, 3.73 ERA, 0.99 whip for Zach Wheeler. Against this Mets roster, there's a ton of plate appearances because, again, he's pitched in this division a while now. Wheeler allowing a 261 batting average, a 238 expected batting average, and a 20% K rate. So if you look at all those numbers together, basically Wheeler is due a little bit of regression, at least in the expected category. Going back to 2022, Wheeler has won 6+ innings in every road start against the Mets. And I know obviously these teams look different than how they did in 2022. It's just pointing out that historically he pitches pretty well against this Mets team, especially in Citi Field. So he's no stranger to just being a home start only type of pitcher. He can go on the road and give them a quality start in this one. Mets 21st in batting average versus righties. Not that consistent in an offense against righties. And if we look at why I kind of mentioned the Wheeler going deep into these games, the Phillies might try to stretch him past his 6 innings pitch, hopefully mitigating that bullpen because yikes, that bullpen is a nightmare right now. And I understand if you want to just take Phillies first 5, but I know that the minute I take Phillies first 5, then they win the full game and avoid the sweep. I don't want to do that. I want to take Phillies full game. I want to trust that Wheeler is able to give them enough length to where the bullpen can hopefully mitigate the damage. Give me only like 2 innings-ish or maybe 3 innings of bullpen because the Phillies are 29th in bullpen ERA, Mets 3rd in bullpen ERA. Huge discrepancy there. But again, I think they give Wheeler enough run support, and I think they get the win on the money line. So give me the Phillies to avoid that divisional sweep. Love them as my first money line at the pick. Austin, what else are you going with?
Yeah, I'm going to an over, and it's a game that did not hit yesterday if you had the over. I actually almost liked an under in that one, and I regret not taking them. That was the Baltimore Orioles team total in the first 5, under 2.5. You can have that full game because they really struggle against lefties so far this season. But today they're facing a righty, which is I'm going to the Orioles and Nationals over 9. Now, I like this at 9.5, which was plus 100. I'll take the 9 with a little bit of push potential. It is minus 120 on BetMGM. I think this is a smash spot for both offenses. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if I have more confidence in one offense, it would be the Orioles. I think they could easily put up 6, 7, 8. Heck, they could hit this over by themselves. But I think the Nats bullpen the Nats on the other side are swinging good bats, and I think they get some opportunities today. And when you think about the bullpens, these two bullpens are nasty, and we'll talk about both of them in just 1 second. But let's first start with the Orioles, who we need to show up. Yesterday, they put up a big goose egg. They had 1 hit as a team. But today, they will face Trevor Williams. Now, Trevor Williams hasn't been great. 5.95 ERA and a 1.63 whip. His expected numbers are better, but what you hate to see and what we love to see as a people that are backing it over is he's struggling against lefties. Lefties are batting .455 against him this season with a 1.2 OPS. We think about the Orioles. They have plenty of lefties they could throw in there. Talk about the top of the lineup. Gunnar Henderson will probably bat leadoff. Cedric Mullins maybe in there as well. Adley Rutschman, a switch hitter. He'll be lefty today. Ryan O'Hearn. We have Jackson Holiday, Heston Kierstad. All those guys 5 or 6 lefties. And then the righties, you have good guys we love like Ryan Mountcastle going in there and get the job done, and Tyler O'Neill. So it's not like he's getting out of jams. He's going to have to face a ton of lefties, and I think we have plenty of opportunities here today. And as we've talked about, the Orioles can't hit lefties to save their lives for some reason, but against righties, one of the best offenses in baseball. In fact, this season, they own a 131 WRC plus versus right-handed pitchers, number one in baseball. The last 5 that they faced have allowed 4, 5, 6, 5, and 5 earned runs. They've been tagging these right-handed pitchers nonstop. I think they tagged Trevor Williams tonight. Now, as for the other side, it's going to be Tomoyuki Sugano, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's been good for them. The pickup, he's been 3.43 ERA and a 1.29 whip. But you look at the underlying metrics, his 3.43 ERA, the baseball savant says that should be around a 6.4 with a 319 expected batting average. So he's been getting lucky, getting out of jams, but some underlying metrics also 7th percentile in whiff percentage, 2nd in K percentage, and 19th in barrel percentage. So number one, he's not getting the swing and misses. Number two, he's giving up a lot of barrels. So again, this is a Nationals team. As I just said, the Orioles against right-handed pitchers in general, a 131 WRC plus. That's first to the majors. Well, if you go to right-handed pitchers at home, the Nationals, a 139 WRC plus versus righties at home. So again, they have been really good against righties. I think they can get some runs up on Sugano. And we get to the bullpens. Let's say the starters do their jobs and pitch decently today. The Nats bullpen dead last in the MLB at a 7.09 ERA, and the Orioles at a 4.55. There's been runs nonstop in both these two games, early and late. I think this is a smash spot for an over. I think the O's offense shows up. I think the Nats can contribute too. I love the over 9 here. Orioles and Nationals over 9. My favorite game pick of the day. Logan, I'm going back to you for another pick. Where are you going today? And I love this one. Back in a nerfy goat who owes us.
Yeah. This isn't a nerfy. You know, Nerfy Nation, we threw the flags away. But this one's a first 5 under, and it's the Reds and Marlins first 5 under 4.5, minus 105 odds on Bet365. Now, this is the closest to a nerfy as you'll see us take. We should see a pitcher's duel early between these two teams. Again, earliest start time. Sometimes these offenses come out a little bit sleepy. I've seen it plenty of times throughout the years. I really do think, though, Sandy Alcantara has a bounce back outing, and that's what Austin's really referencing with our nerfy goat. Sandy starts for the Marlins today, 7.27 ERA, 1.39 whip. He's coming off a 2 innings pitch, 6 earned run game at Philly. I don't even want to talk about it. It plunged a knife into Nerfy Nation's back because he just couldn't get out of the first inning without giving up that run. It really showed signs of trouble. I think his stats, even though they've been disappointing this year, though, it looks like to be a bounce back spot for him. Number one, he comes back home, which Sandy's historically better at home. And he's also still really good at ground ball percentage, which is what his game is these days. Sandy, 91st percentile in ground ball percentage. The Reds, for what it's worth, as an offense, 13th in ground outs versus right-handed pitching. So again, they're up there. And again, that's not a ground out per at bat kind of ratio. It's just ground outs in general. They can get into the ground out that Sandy wants them to do, which is rolling over on some pitches. First plate appearance, Sandy allowing a 188 batting average. Second time through the order, only a 200 batting average. So again, it's really, if you just don't get to the third plate appearance, Sandy's been better first and second time through the order. And I think that's what happens today. I think he gets a lot of these Reds power hitters to just kind of roll over on some soft contact ground ball outs. And then on the other side, it's Brady Singer starting for the Reds. 3.8 ERA, 1.27 whip for Brady Singer. Now, he's more of a strikeout type pitcher. He can get the swing and miss. He's got the capability, 72nd percentile in K percentage, 60th percentile in whiff percentage. Those are big. You gotta miss bats against the really pesky Marlins offense that doesn't they're not an easy out most of the time. But I think Brady Singer is able to get that strike 3 that we need in a lot of these. And I mentioned Sandy first and second time through the order. Singer first and second time through the batting order. 188 batting average allowed, 156 batting average allowed. If you look at both these two starting pitchers, third time through the order, that's where things get dicey. They're each allowing over a 400 batting average. So it's like, can we survive the first 5 innings without allowing the big inning, right? The big inning is the 3-4 plus runs, and it comes cascading down on our heads. I think both of these pitchers are good enough to maybe allow just a run or two through 5, and whatever happens in the bullpen happens in the bullpen, because I really don't trust actually either of these bullpens to come in and not sell. So I like the first 5 under. That's why I'm sticking between both these two starters. Love that as my second pick. Austin, go ahead and wrap up the video though.
Yeah, let's wrap it up with a hit parlay. We have done some of these this season. They've had some, middling success. Of course, Xavier Edwards, who ruined us a few days ago, he gets a hit the day after we back him. That's just how it is. Now, these are two guys that I really think are in for a great matchup. Let's talk with them. It's going to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays and Bobby Witt Jr. Each to record a hit. It's a parlay, minus 130 on Bet365. I want to say minus 140 on DraftKings and FanDuel. A little bit more juice than I want to lay on a hit parlay, but like, we're trying to buy winners over here, and I think this is as good as if I can cook up a hit parlay. Now, I'll begin with Bobby Witt Jr. Now, Bobby, if you don't get a hit, I'm so sorry today, because he's on a 14-game hit streak, and he's been batting 308 on the season. He's facing German Marquez, who's really struggled this season, allowing a 361 batting average to righties. He throws 4 main pitches: four-seamer, slider, sinker, and knuckle curve. In fact, actually, the worst pitch Bobby has done versus righties is a four-seamer this season. Something tells me Marquez doesn't really want to try Bobby Witt Jr. with a four-seamer, because you throw a four-seamer and he hits a nuke, you just look like an idiot. So I think he'll throw a lot of off-speed and sinkers and stuff like that, and I think that's a better pitchers for Bobby to hit. At the end of the day, I'll trust Bobby on a 14-game hit streak that he can make it 15 against the Rockies, whether it's Marquez or the bullpen. Then it's really, in my hopes, it comes down to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has gone hitless in back-to-back games against the Astros, but still hitting the ball pretty well, although he did have 3 strikeouts yesterday. But today he'll face Ryan Gusto. Gusto's to right-handed batters, he's going to throw the four-seamer 56% of the time. He's spamming that thing. The sweeper comes about 20%, but Vlad last year he crushed the four-seamer. This year, about a 260 expected batting average, 262 versus the sweeper. If he wants to get a little crafty and try to throw a sinker or a cutter our way, by all means, throw him to Vladdy, because he crushes those 2 pitches. But Vlad this season at 288 versus righties. He's 99th percentile in expected batting average at 343. He's hitting the ball hard. Yesterday, in the first 2 games of the series, he just hasn't gotten anything going. I'd be shocked if the Blue Jays offense rolls over in a 3rd game in this series. And so I look at Vlad. I think he has a good chance and a good matchup here today. Look at Bobby. Both these 2 guys are studs. I think they at least get 1 hit. Heck, they could get 2+ bases for all I care. I really like both of them to get a hit parlay here at minus 130 on Bet365. So to recap our picks, we got some early ones today. We have Torkelson's hits, runs, and RBIs. Phillies on the money line. We have the over in the Orioles and Nationals game. We have the under for 4.5 in the first 5 in the Reds and Marlins game. And we have the hit parlay, Bobby Witt Jr. and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Those are our picks. A reminder, if your name is Mike the Sir, go back to yesterday's video and claim your $25. Great call on Kyle Tucker. We'll do another giveaway next week on Dinger Tuesday. Either way, let's get a 5-0 sweep. 5-0 sweep, and the vibes are high. Let's do it. Let's have a great Wednesday. If you want, our NBA video will be live later, as well as day 2 of the Ladder Challenge. We'll see you guys there. It's Austin Logan. We're signing out. Peace.